Would you like for me to get that, Chief?
Yes.
Okay. The commitment to keep the officers is for a total of 4 years, because we have to keep them for the 12 months after the grant actually ends as well. Would they be hired with that knowledge? I would assume that yes, they would. My experience is also, however, that they, if people are furloughed or a reduction in force, then the contract would actually govern who the actual people are selected to be reduced. So I'm not sure that the individuals hired using this grant money would actually be the ones that would be terminated, but that's a decision probably made with legal and city administration and that stuff. But I would assume that yes, just like other hiring grants, people are hired in the full knowledge that this is a grant and it's got a 4-year period, and depending on the finances of the city depends on whether or not those positions stay budgeted after that. And your second question was, do we have the flexibility within the grant to accept the grant but then not start basically fulfilling the grant? I would have to try to contact the COPS office to see what the flexibility is. My understanding is that the 36-month or 3-year clock starts October 1st of this year.
That's just unfortunate because of the situation that's completely out of everyone's control. I just hate to waste that year. So if you would do me a favor and just inquire about that, because I can imagine that we're not the only person getting this grant. And if we're not, we're certainly not the only ones in the exact same situation. So they may have already received that question. Even deferring it till February 1, I'm very optimistic for progress later in the fall, but even more so in the spring. So any flexibility they could give us in light of a pandemic would certainly be appreciated.
And I think,
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just another thing I do feel the need to kind of make this is that when we hire an officer, from the time we hire an officer, it's going to be a minimum of 9 to 10 months just to get them from initial hire until they're able to perform out on the street. So we're talking about a delayed time frame.
Anyways.
Yeah, October 1st, I can't put somebody in the schools. Well, actually what we'd have to do, and it'd be a chief decision, to take an existing officer and put them in the schools and use these positions to backfill. But that's a chief's decision. But I can't hire a person October 1st and put them in the schools on October 1st. It'll be at least 9 months, if not a year.
When is the next academy?
That's a chief question.
We've been in a hiring freeze, so we do not have an academy scheduled. I'd like to run one as soon as possible, or at least get it going. The reason we was in a hiring freeze, we'd normally start recruiting back in January, and it was, it's a 5 to 6 month process. Then we'd have an academy starting in August sometime. We didn't do that because we sort of on a freeze for our positions, so I couldn't start recruiting and telling people, yeah, I think we might be able to have one here, when we may not have had positions at all. So we've just been in a freeze, but we will be getting down low enough there. I really need to have an academy soon, or at least start recruiting for an academy.
Thank you. Councilmember Foreman.
Hi, I just had a quick question. So say we started the program and then we couldn't keep funding it after the first year for some reason. Is there any penalty where we would have to pay them back for the money given or anything like that?
I think that's a fair question. I don't know the technicalities of that. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I'd be speculating.
We will find out though.
Councilmember